Welcome to UNBOXED on Purpose, where authentic purpose comes to light. Breaking limits on this journey, letting dreams flutter freely into flight. Flutter into freedom, flutter freely in God's light.
I greet you with the joy of Jesus in my heart, for it is in him that I live, I breathe, I move, and I have my very being. I am so delighted that you joined Unboxed on Purpose today. We are a podcast created for Favored by the Father Ministries. I am Barbara Arlene Fields Brehon, your host. And sharing with us today is Chantale C. Nyonka, a registered nurse who will discuss a healing journey to authenticity. Hi, Chantale.
Hi, good morning, Barbara.
Chantale Nyonka is an award-winning author, registered nurse, and mindset transition coach. Her life, her whole mission is to help others to heal, align, and live with their truth. Live in their truth. Her years of nursing, caring for patients through their pain, recovery, and transformation has deepened her understanding of healing beyond the physical, shaping the heart of her coaching. Through her award-winning memoir, On My Way Back to Yesterday, I love that title, On My Way Back to Yesterday, A Journey to Authenticity, and its companion, Journey to Authenticity workbook, Chantale guides individuals to confirm their pain, forgive themselves, embrace healing, discover their purpose, and live authentically. Her mission is to help others heal, as I've said before, to help others rise, to help others align with the life they were divinely created to live, authentic, authentic,
Okay.
authentically and unapologetically. I wanted to read some of that again because a lot of who it is that she is resonates deeply with me because I use a lot of those same words myself in the work that God has given me to do. Welcome again, Chantale.
Thank you so much, Barbara. It's such a pleasure being here today with you.
God bless you so very, very much. In what state do you currently reside? I like a geographic thing.
Yes, I'm in
Going
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. And here we are in Virginia. And I applaud God once more for giving us this platform so that we can reach all with the Great Commission through any means that he provides. That's why I get into the geography of it, because that's nothing but fulfilling the Great Commission. Tell our audience how we met.
So we met through social media, and you know, the moment I saw the post, it immediately aligned with me. Immediately aligned with what I stand for. And so I immediately reached out and I said, I would love to be in this amazing podcast because these are the places, some of the places I would love to share, to empower and to help others becoming who they were divinely created to be. So we definitely, met each other through social media.
That's great because I do post in various places and others refer people to me. So at the very beginning, I like to give honor where honor is due. And others who are interested in becoming guests will know that this is open for people in the community of God, community at large. And so if we just give a 30-second unique identity, I know I read a bio. I want to quickly ask you, who is, in 30 seconds or less, Who is Chantale C. Nyonka?
Sure. Thank you so much. So Chantale C. Nyonka is an award-winning author, recently a finalist in the Literary Global Book Award. Um, yes, a mindset transition coach, a registered nurse, a speaker, but none of that really define who Chantale C. Nyonka really is. Chantale C. Nyonka is a woman who had to heal to become who God really designed her to be. Chantale C. Nyonka is a woman who had to forgive, who had to
Mm.
deeply and truly forgive to become who God truly wanted her to be. And so, besides all the titles and all of that, this is Chantale C. Nyonka, that person, that woman who has healed and empowering others.
I love it. And so, in all of that, and you're going to get into more details a little bit later, describe to help the audience resonate with you as an individual person. Describe what would make a perfect day for you.
What would make a perfect day for me?
Yes.
Sure. So that's a good question. What will make a perfect day for me is a day where it's there's quietness, it's peaceful, and I'm just sitting there and just writing,
Mm.
talking, reading, and just maintaining that space where it's full with positive vibes, it's filled with good energy. And I mean, everything could be happening out there, but as long as I'm in that space, I'm fully, fully, fully contented and satisfied.
I feel like I am hearing someone tell my story. Really content and all of that. Yeah, I could do exactly that and be okay with it, you know?
Yeah.
All that stuff going on out there, let it happen. I mean, okay, God, keep using me. Uh,
Yeah.
thank you for sharing our story. So let's get a little bit deeper into Chantal and ask you to go back to your childhood and all of that. What seemed to be your passion in life as a child growing up? What is it that you seem to like to do or want to be when you were a child?
Thank you, Barbara, for that question. Again, I love it. So as a child, I knew I could always feel it in my heart that I wanted to always make people feel good. I always wanted people to feel better. I always wanted to be part of that team where, we're helping others to either making them happy, making them satisfied, making them feel well again. But at that time, I really did not know what passion meant.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea what all those terminologies were all about. I just knew that I had that heart to make people feel well. And that really got solidified when I was around 10 years old, when my dad got sick. I would say before, younger than that. My dad got sick. I'm the youngest. I was the youngest, and my mom had traveled. So my dad got really sick, and I was the only one left to take care of him. Um, just for the records, I'm from Africa. I was born in Africa, and so life is a little bit different there in terms of health. So at that age, I was able to do certain things, not being a nurse, not being a healthcare professional.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to give him pill medications. And so I was able to do that. I was able to provide care for him. I was able to make food for him. And so that really
Yeah.
hit. I enjoyed it. I loved it. I saw how I put a smile on his face. I saw how he got better by the day. And so that kind of just made me new that this is what I want to do. This is the kind of person that I am. So at that point, I knew um, this is what I would love to do. But like I said, I knew nothing about passion. I knew nothing you know, about that. So that's where it all started.
That's what I like about asking my guests that question, because obviously we'll know, because it's pre-recorded, that I'm going to ask that particular thing about your childhood. And my guests have plenty of time, audience, to think about the specific thing that goes back to their childhood or teen years, to bring it all together. And when we consider the title of this show, it's just a wonderful thing about the healing journey that we're talking about today. And so, as we continue to unpack some of the pieces in your box of your puzzle box, who would you say really saw you early in your journey, and what did they speak into your life? Who's been like the biggest influence?
And so this goes back again in my childhood. And at the time, again, a lot of things did not make sense to me until later on in life.
Sure.
And so I would say my father again. He said a lot of things to me that I just laughed about them. And, as a child, I just thought maybe, a father would just say things. But little did I know that those things, most of the things that he said really did come to pass. So I would say my father, he said a lot of things to me, such as at the time, well, even now, the president in my country, Cameroon, her name is Chantale.
Huh.
So she is still the president's wife, just so you know. So I remember he used to call me that name, like Chantal, and then the last name. Oh, you will be the one to, do this for me. You will do this for me.
Yeah.
It sounded to me like fun, you know. You will build a duplex for me. You will
Mm.
build me a beautiful house. You are like just graceful names. He will call me graceful names. And so when I eventually left the country, immediately I was in that place where I felt the need to fulfill all those things that had been said. I wasn't under any pressure
Right.
to do anything. I was a little girl who came here. I was a teenager, first time leaving my parents, all the way to the United States. Despite all the challenges, I was just focused on those things that my dad had been saying.
Mm-hmm.
So to go back to your question, I would say he is that one person who had, I call it now, spiritually connected to who God had designed me to be. And so he was already seeing those, I don't want to say potential, because he was already seeing the grace in me,
Right.
and the direction that I was supposed to be headed to. So I just fell in place. The things that I did just happened to be falling in place. Yeah, so I would say my father.
Absolutely wonderful answers, because they are authentic answers. I am hearing everything that you're saying and feeling that the purpose that I have in my heart to go along with being unboxed on purpose has everything to do with progressing something that is intergenerational. And there will be people listening of all ages who can share this, and maybe your story will actually resonate with someone's son or daughter or grandchild, great niece or great nephew, that will inspire them to step outside of a shallow comfort zone that they don't really understand and pursue their authenticity. And just like your father was very instrumental in speaking positive affirmations, you look back and you see how those things were helpful. I
Mhm.
want our audience to do that with the young people that surround them. And so let's just pause right here for a moment before we unbox the next puzzle piece of your journey. Let's pause for a moment just to give a conversation that resonates with our audience, to show them how they can be featured on an episode of Unboxed on Purpose. We'll be back in a minute. called to share your journey on Unboxed on Purpose. We'd love to hear from you. Visit our website, favoredbythefather.com. Click Contact Us, and we'll schedule a time to talk. This podcast was created with you in mind, your voice, your victory, your testimony. To be considered, leave your name, email address, the subject line Unboxed, and a brief note about what you'd like to say to be on the show. Together, let's advance God's purpose and help others become unboxed and flutter freely in the Lord. Welcome back, Chantale C. Nyonka. If you had to unbox one lesson that shaped your life, who you are today, what is that specific lesson? And we'll go ahead and dump some more of the puzzle pieces out for your unboxing.
So one lesson that, Nara, if you could please repeat that question for me.
If you have one lesson to unbox that actually shaped who you are today, you've touched on it already, but you may have another one. What would it be? A lesson that unboxed you to step outside of your comfort zone.
Sure. So the lesson is you become your most authentic self the moment you are aligned with your spirit, because that's where our reality sits. That's where our divine, that's who God actually created us to be. And so if I was able to connect to my spirituality, to my spirit, knowing that whatever people said about me or whatever pain that people caused me, whatever trauma and all those hurtful things that people did to me, I was above that. And so none of those things that they said to me stopped me from doing the things that I was born to do. So I'm at that level, and I always say we are all created in God's image. And so if we are created in God's image, that means we are able to live and maximize our being. And so nothing else matters in the bottom. A lot of times people are physical, and so they feed into what they hear, they feed into what they think, and so it kind of like limits them. So I learned that for me to be able to be who I was truly born to be, I had to overcome all of that and connect to who my reality is. And so that is the lesson. And I believe everyone should be able to go through that journey and really connect to their truth, to be able to live a fully, to live a life that was designed by God, because we have the potential.
Potential, as it pertains to purpose, is exactly where we are in this podcast right now. What pivotal point will you share with us where you literally stepped outside of a dark place or stepped outside of the direction that you were headed to pursue intentionally the purpose that you've already explained to us that you exist?
Sure. So for me to be able to answer these questions, I have to take the audience back a little bit to my childhood.
Okay.
And I'm going to be really brief with that. So my child wasn't a soft landing. Very early, I learned how to shrink. As a child, I learned how to hide myself because of body shaming, people calling me names. So I learned how to, even before I knew what self-confidence was. So I learned all of those things quickly. And then worse that happened, that which I do not wish for any mom or any child or anybody to go through, was the attempted rapes and all of that. Those did not only break me, but they stole something emotionally from me. And so growing up as that child who was always internalizing, not talking because of how I was raised, everything stayed inside. And then that just kept breaking me, that just kept taking away my self confidence and totally disconnected me from who I was truly, my spirit. I was disconnected because I was in survival mode, always trying to survive
Mm.
and trying to ignore the things that were going on. And so I fast forward, I moved to the United States, pursuing my dreams, like I said earlier, doing other things. I wanted to be a nurse. I wanted to do all of these things. I started with a CNA. I became a licensed practical nurse, became a registered nurse, became a director of nursing, and all of that. But then the reality stood with me. I was hurting. This was a woman building on top of unhealed wounds. And
Mm-hmm.
so the world thought I was successful. The world thought I was doing well. But in reality, I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't doing well. Emotionally, I was a wreck. So it got to a point where a lot of things started falling apart, including my son getting burned on his face. He
Mm-hmm.
had third-degree burn on his face. My husband getting sick and the doctor telling me, oh, that's over. And a lot of things happening. I was like, God, what is happening? I thought I was doing everything right. I prayed, I fasted, I did all kinds of things. I said, I need the courage to
Yeah.
get out of this space that I'm in because it's not good. It's not good enough. And
Mm-hmm.
so one morning, I don't know where that courage came from. I was just looking at myself in the mirror, just crying, just seeing someone who's worked so hard to
Yeah.
have all that she had, but still broken, still unhealed, still crying every single day, not happy. And so it happened when that courage came from out of nowhere. And I will say, God did it for me. And I said that day, today is the day. I'm no longer gonna say no when I really meant yes. I'm no longer gonna say yes when I really meant no. So that's when I was able to start saying no and stuck to no.
Mm-hmm.
And things just started transforming in my life. And I decided to take on that journey on my way back to yesterday to really understand where it started. Because there's a root to what all of that started. And so that was a pivotal point in my life
Mm-hmm.
where it's like everything was falling apart, and it just happened that God just gave me the courage. All of a sudden, I said no, and no, I stood for no. And everything changed from that moment. I had the courage and I started doing everything that I did to heal, which I
God.
didn't even know. I didn't even know it was healing. I just knew I wanted to get rid of the pain. I just knew I did not like how I was feeling. But later on, that I knew was actually healing. I was actually healing.
God does tell us in His Word that we should let our yea be yea, our yes be yes, and our no be no.
Yeah.
Um, so let's just keep moving forward. You have so succinctly talked about those things that I believe will resonate with people of all ages. Would you give advice to anyone of any age that would be facing a situation like you've been describing?
My advice would go to all the ages. I would say I always go back to the root because I believe that's where everything starts. And I always say, parents, always keep a close eye to your kids, create that environment for your kids to be able to communicate and talk to you and be okay with it. Talk to your children, talk positivity in them. And I'm doing that too because I have little ones and they come home. My 8-year-old comes home and tells me all these things. Then I have to sit down. I actually was talking to him over an hour to get rid of that mindset. You think they are body shaming you, if you think they're laughing at your shoes, if you think they're laughing at your shirt, you always have to understand that it's not about your shirt, it's not about your shoe, it's about them. People
Okay.
will project how they feel, what they feel inside, and always remember that it's not you. It doesn't matter at what age in life that you find yourself, always remember You only give what you have all the time. What you have is what you give. So I feel like that's like what really keeps me going. Sometimes I have to remind myself, it's not me. It's really not me. So I'm not gonna let that into my space. I feel bad that you acting that way, but I think you really need help. I can see that you are anxious. I can see that you are upset, but I believe there are things that are upsetting you. It's not me. And so I always remind myself, which is really, really healthy for anyone to always remember that it's not you are not the problem.
I love the way you said that. And there's a particular person that I shared that with because I mentor several people. And I share with people sometimes when they are discussing things, what they're saying doesn't indicate to me that you have a problem. It's the other person that's dumping something on you. And you said it quite well, so I don't have to go there. But I had to giggle with God on that one because you expressed it exactly the way that I actually say it to my mentees. You are not the one with the problem. But then
Yes,
sometimes people overlearn a thing and
yes,
they don't know how to create that balance. But the
yes,
balancing beam has
yes.
to have you and the other person in the situation. But in the center of that is
Mm-hmm.
the Lord. And if
Yes,
you don't balance that with what God wants for you, then you're going to
yes,
be off balance in a literal
yes,
sense. You won't
yes,
be at peace. You
yes,
won't have things. Oh, let me just stop and go back to you because this is a show where I am featuring you talking about your healing journey. And you have been on point discussing that title since the very, very beginning. So let's talk about you being a nurse and an author and all those things. How does your work collide with your purpose or your identity?
it just flows.
I
It
love it.
flows. It flows, and I think it's a plus to me. Because as a nurse, I take care of my patients. I go to another level because I see beyond. I see beyond just giving the medications. I see beyond what they are facing at the moment. I go deeper to understand. I don't know if I mentioned to you that I work in the psych ward.
Ah,
And yes. And so being that person who understands how people could,
mm,
things could happen within a split second.
yes.
I'm not just looking at the behaviors at that moment. I try to go deeper to understand. I believe things have had happened in the past that you tolerated over and over and over. And now it's affecting you. So I also bring in that mindset part of it. I also bring in those healing words because sometimes I have patients who I would say, I'm not God, but I would say it's really kind of late for you to make amends, for you to fix things because it is what it is already. But still, just find peace within you to understand and forgive yourself that all that you did not do it because you wanted to be in this position, but it happened. You are here. Let's try to make today a good day. And so being a nurse, being all of this, things, being an author, being it comes, it just works out perfectly for me because I'm not, like I said, I'm not just doing my nursing job. There's so much I'm bringing into my patients. Just sometimes I just sit and listen,
Mhm.
and that makes their day. So just
Listening is a
yes,
powerful skill when
yes,
people actually listen.
yes. So to go back to your question, it's perfect. It just blends.
I love it because God did not make mistakes when He created us. we've been divinely put together in a way that fits his plan. There are no coincidences, in my opinion. There is nothing that just happened. It brought us to a place where we are. We accept that and balance what we do with what God is trying to do through us, with us, for all the people that he wants us to share with. This is great stuff right here. So go ahead and tell us a little bit more about your book. And I want to do that and share with them what your book cover looks like.
My book, okay.
I'm
I
gonna
always have my
I'm gonna
book.
put it on the screen when we do the editing. You go ahead. Tell us about your book.
So my book, on my way back to yesterday, this is what it looks like. A journey to authenticity. This is a true life experience. In this book, I talk about, and rawly and authentically, I talk about my life from childhood all the way to where I am right now. It's not just storytelling. This book will teach you how to be resilient. This book will help you to understand that where you are right now, whatever challenges that you are facing right now, this book would remind you that there's someone who has been through something similar, if not the same, and this person actually overcame. This book will give you permission not to give up. It will give you permission to know that you can still try again and you can keep going. It's a it has a companion because a lot of people were asking me, I read your book. It resonated so much with me, and I feel like I really want to, get rid of this pain. I really want to see what my purpose in life is, but I just don't know how to start. And I always say there are things that you must do to be able to, connect with that purpose of yours and start living that life that you were truly designed to live. And so the workbook would help you. I always say it's you and the workbook. It's like you and your truth, you and the reality. So if you are lying to that workbook, you are just lying to yourself. In
Right.
that workbook, you have to be raw, you have to be truthful, because that's the only way you can heal, to face your reality, to face your own story. And that's what that workbook does. It will guide you to pour out everything in there, just like I did here. I used to say all the things that I've been through, they used to weigh on me. They used to control me. They used to dictate how I smile, how I walk, what I wear,
Mm.
the perfume that I use. But everything you see right now, I'm carrying it. I have control over it. I can choose to put it on the floor. I can choose to put it wherever. So that's how you transform, or you remove that luggage and put it where you should be in control of. What I'm trying to say is forgiveness will not get rid of your pain. Healing will not get rid of your pain. It just changes how you perceive it, how you feel it. That's the difference. You would think about it sometimes. In life, things would happen that would mimic some of the things that happen to you. But with healing, you will be able to be in control and recognize those things and not being emotionally drained and be like, yeah, this is my life. This is what always happens to me. That's the difference. And Barbara, that's what I always say to people. When I say healing, I'm not saying getting rid of what happened to you. I'm
Right.
not saying erasing what happened to you. Those things are gonna be there, but you can talk about them. You can use them to teach other people. You can use them to let people know that I went through this. I'm this person right now. God just used me to go through that to be where He wants me to be, and that's exactly where I am. So this book, it's not just a book. I keep saying this book was just recognized or one in the finalist. Um, I'm still getting used to the name. Literally Global Book Award finalist. This is what happened to this book because now it's globally recognized, and so it makes me not only like fulfill, I just know that the impact it's reaching a broader audience. This book is available only on Amazon. Um, for those who are around the Haverhill area in Massachusetts, I have signed copies. I know some people prefer signed copies. The workbook right now is only on my website. I'm working towards getting that on Amazon as well.
What is the
Um,
website?
the website is chantaleshamgar.com.
Spell that out for those who are listening and not viewing.
Sure. So CHAN as in Nancy, T as in Tom, A as in Apple, L. Okay. Hold on. I think I just mixed it up. CH, like my first name, and then the last name, .com.
Great. We'll have it on the screen.
Yes.
There are some that won't have a screen. They'll only be listening. Thank you so much. I know that they will be able to reach out to you. And I'm just excited that your story and mine are so different, but yet they are so much the same. You are indeed unboxed on purpose, with a purpose. And you've encouraged others of all generations, I believe, to step outside of their confining boxes on purpose for a healing journey to authenticity. Are there any parting words you'd like to share?
I'm just grateful being here. I just, like you said it earlier, everything happens for a reason, for a purpose. And I believe I was designed to be here right now. And I believe everything that I have said, someone somewhere was actually designed to hear it. And I hope that it goes a long way to be that turning point for them to understand that healing is possible. Healing is their birthright. It doesn't matter what has happened in the past. It doesn't matter what you've heard in the past, what has been done to you in the past. That should not define who you were born to be. You have the power to become that person. Healing is possible. It's your birthright. Take control and be in control.
I love it. The use of the word birthright. It's your birthright. You have a right to it.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful conversation, Chantale, Nyonka. I want the audience to just join us for about 30 minutes every week. We probably usually always go over. It's okay though. Unboxed on Purpose has restorative conversations, and we want you to be refreshed with your purpose and shape your future at the same time. We post these episodes on Thursdays on the Faith by the Father Ministries YouTube channel, on our Facebook page, and LinkedIn. Most podcast platforms also carry our shows. Remember that as we evolve, just thinking about our logo right now for Favored by the Father Ministries, we are like those little butterflies that come out of boxes, dark places, allowing the Holy Spirit to advance us to immeasurable and lofty levels in the Lord. We want you to fulfill your purpose. We want you to grow your intimacy with the Lord as you grow in grace and remain favored by the Father.
You were made with purpose, an authentic purpose you can claim. Keep unboxing every blessing. Let your spirit flutter freely in Jesus' name. Until next time, keep flying boldly. Keep living fully, heart open wide. This is Unboxed on Purpose, where your story comes alive.
Reverend Dr. Barbara A.F. Brehon, visionary servant leader, speaker, teacher, mentor, and best-selling author. Dr. Brehon's books are written to inspire, equip, and encourage believers on the journey of faith. The Disciples' Journey to Christ-Likeness Trilogy, Reach Me with Smiles, a handbook for developing disciple makers, Beyond Discipleship to Relationship, Developing Intimacy with the Lord, Blooming for Christ, Growing Godly Intimacy, Reverend B. Beast's Morning Messages Devotional Series, Points to Ponder, Devotional Readings and Journaling, Volumes 1 and 2, The Perspective Series. Perspectives. What singles really want for ministry and life. And 100 Unboxed Perspectives. Reminiscences that inspire. Her anthology contributions include An Abraham Move in Beyond Adversity, 2 chapters in From Cocoon to Soar, Emerging from Darkness, and The Power of Self-Discovery. All titles are available now on Amazon. And as always, grow in grace, God's special favor, and remain favored by the Father.